Welcome to the latest edition of IGN Live. Today we're playing NCAA Football 12, and I am your host, Peter Eichmanns. I'm sitting here with Greg Miller.
Not nearly enough excitement, Peter. Come on. M-I-Z! Let's do this! Some college football, I'm ready. God, I wish it was Saturday.
And we have producer Ben Helmiller from EA Sports.
I can't match that excitement level, but we'll do it on the field.
All right, good. Yeah,
there we go.
There's going to be some gridiron battles here, ladies and gentlemen. Columbia, Missouri. So, Ben, what are we about to see?
So we're going to take you into a game, show you an introduction, one of our new pregame introductions we added this year, a lot of pageantry about college football, get that in there, and then run through some gameplay, show you some of the new additions we've added to gameplay this year. So we'll jump in and load into the game real quick and show you the greatest of all pregame introductions.
That's quite a
Peter,
that's a claim.
I don't know about this.
That's a claim.
There's only one.
Is there
the best one.
Oh, okay. No, just because these guys were, Florida State, they're your boys. You didn't give them any special love. Everybody gets special love this year.
Never.
Right?
No, everyone
Okay,
gets.
right.
From the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech, the Boomer Sooner, the UGA, everything got in there this year as far as making sure schools got plenty of love.
They're just due, as some would say.
Of course.
Remember, if you want your just due, make sure you're either twittering at IGN and putting hashtag NCAA12 or commenting on the IGN article. Your questions will be asked here live to Ben. Myself, I won't have anything really to say, but he knows all about his own games. Presentation's the big thing this year, right?
I mean, that's one of the big parts, too, is from ESPN adding in a lot of that look. So you'll see presentation wipes you see as they're loading in here. It looks just like a real ESPN game. This set is built, it's run during real time, so it's actually located in the stadium. So whenever you play a game, you see this stuff, you see the actual stadium you're at built in the background right there.
Gotcha.
So it looks just like an ESPN broadcast, from the game tracks telling you the story of the game. It can be as unique as a dual threat freshman quarterback playing well in the rain, to as simplistic as the defense has a lot of sacks. So great stories with highlights and commentary kind of backing that up. You've got conference-specific and bowl-specific wipes as well when you're going through.
Nice.
We'll play through a quarter here in a little bit and show you the quarter break animation too, which is kind of a really cool thing, like you see on ESPN when they go to break, where it kind of pans by and shows highlights from the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter as you're going through the game.
Awesome.
So getting ready to see the greatest moment in college football.
The greatest moment in college football.
There's not a Saturday complete without seeing Osceola and Renegade running out to the midfield, playing in that sphere. It's a thing of beauty.
Why was this so important to you, this year?
Well, so it's really, these are the things that make college football unique, make college football special. And these are the things that are the symbols of the school. So, Florida State, for example, we actually worked with the Seminole tribe to make sure that we had their blessings of how we were representing Osceola and Renegade in the game, and just make sure that they're not a mascot. They're a symbol of the university. And so make sure we're showing them in the right way. But also, wherever you're at, if you're Oklahoma fan with Boomer and Sooner running out with Sooner Schooner, or if you're an Auburn fan with the War Eagle, making sure that all that stuff is in the game and looking great, because it's a symbol of your school. It's what you want to see.
Right. Yeah. You want to make it feel like Saturday. Right?
Sure. Of course. And so, for a Texas fan, you got to have Bevo on the sideline right there.
So how many specific traditions were you guys able to incorporate into this year's game?
So we added roughly 30 new traditions, going from anything from what's kind of called a touch tradition. So it might be at Florida rubbing the Gator head as they run out there, or Louisiana Tech hitting the Bulldog as they're going out, or Ole Miss rubbing they have a statue they touch on their way out, to adding things like, the buzzword's been quadrupeds, talking about the horses.
Yeah.
So you get you've got the four-legged animals out there. So you've got Ralphie at Colorado running out there, but even you've got to the level of having ducks on motorcycles for Oregon. Yeah. So you get to see that, and the Demon Deacon at Wake Forest riding on his motorcycle, the Ramblin' Wreck car for Georgia Tech, all that sort of stuff.
Do your designers ever look at you and just be like, man, I just want to make football games? Like, I gotta make a dog run now? This is way different than what I've been doing.
Well, but that's the sort of thing. It's such a different challenge for them. It's such a new thing for the animators to do. They had a kick, doing it, because we didn't mocap this stuff. I mean, it's kind of hard to mocap a dog.
Get a dog in the
or a buffalo,
So
it was great for them to be able to go in and see the challenges to come up and make these things and make them as realistic as possible, because there's still plenty of time to do the core football stuff too. So kind of a fun extra part to do in your job.
John, ref someone like this.
Getting chippy out there early.
Come on now.
Now, why don't we jump into a few questions here? I apologize to the submitters, but we lost a few Twitter names in the translation to the iPad. But let's jump right in. One question asks, what's the most challenging aspect of maintaining an annual franchise like this?
So the most challenging aspect is making it fresh, making it new, making it something that you feel you need to go out and buy the new version of it, because we do come out every year. And if we kind of rested on our laurels and just said, okay, yeah, another great game from us. Here you go, and never actually did anything.
Done.
That wouldn't last very long. I wouldn't be here talking to you anymore, you know? So it's really kind of to push ourselves of what we can do every year and really make a new, compelling, great game and make it feel completely different when you press start the very first time into when you're playing the game.
All right, cool. And kind of along those same...
Well played. Yeah, you're really ready for the Mizzou Tigers to come out here in a little bit.
It's lulling you to sleep. That's my plan.
You're showing me the sandbagging trick here. Okay.
False sense of security here.
Yeah.
So kind of along the lines of traditions you were talking about, another user, I apologize for the last names. We got a lot of questions, a lot of comments, but somebody was wondering what goes behind the research to figure out what these teams are doing. I mean, there's some obvious ones that everybody knows, but what do you guys do to ensure you're getting it right?
So yeah, I mean, there are definitely the obvious ones. I mean, everyone knows Tommy Trojan at USC and that sort of thing. But there were actually a couple this year. There was Tennessee touches a T sign as they're going out onto the field that even most Tennessee fans didn't know that they really do, because a lot of fans don't really see that in the locker room.
A lot of fans aren't allowed in the back.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a lot of research, both working with the schools themselves, just working with fans. I mean, message boards are a great resource. You know, you see the forums all the time. They'll tell you what you did right, and they'll tell you what you did wrong too. So
speaking of which, does Nestler stop saying Farah Field? Faroe, Don Faroe. Everyone knows this. Come on, Mizzou fans. We put up with it long enough.
Tomato,
it's
tomato.
time there was a voice.
Tomato, tomato. Seriously.
All right. Now, what I love about these cutaways here is it's really showing you how detailed, and this is such a nerdy thing to get excited about, but how detailed the grass is, right? Like here, it looks normal-esque, but when you get down to those low cutscenes, you see it sprouting out.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, that was one of the things art-wise. It was really touch every pixel was kind of the mantra they had. So that starts with the grass, the 3D grass we have this year. If you see a shot from a snow game, for example, you see little blades of grass coming up through the ground. You can see them kicking up particles as they're running too. So great addition there. Moving up to the player, you've got new gear, dreadlocks, new uniforms for a lot of schools. And then you're looking at the crowds as well. The crowds are 3D for the first time. So they look great. It's one of those things where with the grass and with the crowd, you can almost get fooled into believing that it's a real screenshot. It's a real screenshot from a real game and not just marketing.
So kind of along those lines, what other, I guess, engine and graphical elements were bumped up this year?
So lighting-wise, the big addition is HDR lighting. So that's always having the camera exposed and change based on the lighting of the area you're at. So if you're at a stadium, it's noon, there's a big shadow coming up covering half the field. It used to be kind of dark and murky and you couldn't really see half the field of what was going on. But now, just like a real camera lens, it'll dynamically update and be able to show that level of detail, either if you're on the dark side of the field, the light side of the field. So it makes the game look great from anywhere.
All right, cool. And with some more user questions, we're getting some usernames, so shout out to you guys.
We're not cutting them off this time as we paste them into the iPad.
Apologies. The Doughboy 15 asks,
good name.
What new improvements have you guys made to, it's kind of a three-parter here. 1, Road to Glory. 2, Dynasty modes. And 3, online modes.
Yes. So, great questions. And at this point, those are things that we have not announced yet. So, you can look for Dynasty a little later this month. Look for
on IGN.com.
There you go. That's nice plug.
No problem. These YouTube kids, they don't know what they're watching.
Yeah. And you've got Road to Glory is actually around E3 when we're going to come out with that.
Okay.
And along that same time frame will be a lot of our online announcements there as well.
Okay, cool.
So, great question, just a little early. I'm showing you the new X button, tackle animation.
The new X button?
The tackle button. First time ever you can actually initiate a wrap tackle. So before there were 3 ways to tackle. You could just kind of blindly just run into the guy and hope for the best. You could flail wildly at the guy and hope for the best, or you could hit stick and either knock him out or,
whiff. It was the whiff stick for me mostly.
There you go. So now you have the ability to actually hit that X button to initiate a wrap tackle. And so that's all the new collision system where you don't see players kind of suction in or slide or warp to get into position anymore. The collision and tackle starts at the moment of impact.
Gotcha.
And then same thing for blocking as well and for catching the ball. So it's a big change to how the game is played as that regard, because it makes it look a lot better, a lot more natural, because you don't see guys skating around like they're on ice.
All right, great. So I guess we're going to skip around some of the online modes. A lot of people have questions for these.
Those are the big questions.
Yeah, it seems to be kind of a hot point here.
Yet, so there's a lot of curiosity, but we got big announcements that will come for those.
Good to hear.